Are you a little sore over here? What's going on? What have you been doing? Squats,
Wedding stuff.
burpees, jumping jacks?
All of it.
Really?
Wedding stuff.
Really? Okay. Oh, the wedding stuff's got you sore.
Yeah.
That's sore hearted, sore bodily. Where we at here?
Man, trying to catch up. 5 years of horrible habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to compress it in handful of days.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Not a good idea.
No, that's exactly how life works, though, right? The last 5 years, you should be able to work that off in 5 days.
You think so?
Social media says so.
Yeah, you're right. Following the wrong gym program.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
I'm actually taking a dip into Rob's little ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say little ordeal.
Yeah, he's gonna
I'm
be like,
very
wow, what do you mean by
no. I'm so sorry. Don't make it.
Why's it gotta be your little thing? You know.
I'm just mad right now. Okay? No, just kidding. I'm mad at myself. But no, just prepping up for these like last moments before everything gets rolling, man.
100%,
about
man.
to become a hubby.
I know, right? Hubby. And then you can just get completely out of control if you want to, right? You don't even have to carry anymore.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, the knot's tied up. You ain't going nowhere. Are you kidding me? Everything I did up until this point?
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Be a better man.
I don't know. Maybe tell me what the secret is off camera, so
Yeah.
even Miss Maniac doesn't come and rip my ass up, bringing out dirty secrets on your side.
The secret is there is no secrets. That's like my new slogan term. I've been using that in the cooking show like crazy too. The secret is there is no secret.
The secret is there is no secret. I like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
So I just been kicking in with the family, the wife, and them. My phone's here going off on us real quick. Let me turn this thing
Maniac's
off.
busy.
Slacking.
Catching it.
It wasn't even a call. It was my alarm. So I usually, in between practices, I will get like a nap in, 25, 30-minute lap. Sometimes I'll take an hour nap depending upon how hard work I do. But sometimes I feel like if I get that hour in, it's just a little bit of a pain trying to get back up for that second session.
Ooh.
So I try to keep it small. So that's what that.
I got you.
That's what that alarm was right there, telling me, hey, get your sup.
Let's go,
get
boy.
Ready to go get work in, baby. Get on the video
Time
game.
is money, pimping.
100%.
Yeah. No, man, just kind of getting together for the people. We got a few big things coming up. Kind of just getting back to ground zero again. You and I, man, talking about especially things we got coming up. The fights around the corner. We're gonna dip into kind of fight camp. I want to dig into that, kind of see where you are with that. Going through some of the stuff, at least with Agent Terry, and kind of getting the mindset right, trying to getting things going. Led me to a different direction, at least for me, in my next big step, which is like, something that we talked about before, something I've mentioned, becoming one of those things. Like, it is becoming a husband, but it's more than that to me. Becoming a leader of the household, dipping into that a little bit.
100%.
So, this episode's going to kind of drive that thing in there. Yeah. But first off, man, I know that, for you have things lined up the way you want to, but reel it back in for me when you kind of know that you have a date set, contract signed, everything. You got to start planning out fight camp. So, start from step one, right after you know that this is going to be a thing. You have your timelines, what's organized from coaching to diet to training, everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think first thing is just like everything else, it starts with my team, right? So just getting with my team and getting everything broken down. Rob is part of the team for my nutrition, so we get all that aligned up. Get with my UFC PI nutritionist too, so that they can get me the right supplements that I need to go along with Rob's nutrition plan. Creating my workout plan for throughout the whole process, which it all stays pretty close. I train around all year long. Every single day I'm training multiple times a day, and that's not just to fight. That's to get better. So other than that, I just kind of up those training sessions at certain points, right? Harder wrestling practices, harder jiu-jitsu practices, harder sparring rounds as we get closer on to the fight. But everything else stays the same, sparring every week anyways. But yeah, a lot of it's getting my team together, talking to each other, coming up with a game plan on how we're gonna not only approach the fight, but approach the whole fight camp, where we want to be, things that we want to see inside there, things that we want to be able to do. And again, not everything might not play out the way we want, but it's always good to have a game plan going into it where we all kind of know where we stand, what weight I want to be at, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling emotionally, physically, all those different types of things. So I pretty much already dialed all that in. You know, we got that dialed in right away. Rob sent over my Nutrien program, so food, everything is all in line. So basically, he just gives me an app. And on that app, it lets me know, all right, morning tea. This is what your morning tea is and the supplements you need. First, your breakfast. And it tells me the time that I should be taking around to. Breakfast, have this before breakfast and then eat your breakfast, which is 574 calories. And it gives me my macros. And it's different for everybody. Nice. But for me, since I'm utilizing meal prep companies now, which is something that's helped me in a big way. I really enjoy cooking, but I hate meal prepping, right? Hate meal prepping.
Same, man. I cannot get that dialed in.
It is I
don't know what it is.
It's a pain. It's a lot of work. Yeah. It's a lot of work to meal prep. It's a lot of, and honestly, I think what it boils down to, it's so much easier to meal prep when you're doing 100 meals than doing 10, 20 meals for the week, right? Because it's a lot of time to just get those couple meals. So he basically sends me those macros and everything, and that's kind of how that works. And again, it's all put through my system for me, my Nutrien system. So
can I ask you, so you said you're using a meal program. Who are you allowed to, or who is that? Or what are you using?
Yeah. So Clean Eats is the company I've been using right now.
Okay.
I'm actually in talks with another company of one of my buddies own right now. And I'm really looking at getting with him because I really appreciate, see, there's my alarm letting me know again.
Get up again.
Come
on, dog.
I think that's the one that's going to be stopped now. Yeah, going back to that, one of my buddies, Coyote, Alex Coyote, he trains at the gym with us too. He has his own company as well.
Oh, he does?
And he does a phenomenal job too. I'm working on getting things set up with him, and I'll be using him throughout the camp. Nice. And I'll use Clean Eats when I'm outside of camp, just to keep me maintained, right? Because there's outside of camp maintenance, and then there's inside of camp weight maintenance, and I just want to be more particular, which Alex is very good at being particular to and not only do we have a great relationship, so he'll be able to accommodate my needs in a better way. But Clean Eats is fantastic, so I have them at home. I literally just go to the facility, grab whatever meals that they have in the freezer, whatever sounds good to me that's close to the macros that I need to be eating, and I just take them home, throw them in my freezer, and it just says simple 1, 2, 3. Anytime I want a meal, pull it out, go throw it in the microwave.
What?
Eat my food.
And it's here in AZ?
Yep, it's here. They have multiple locations. They have 6 locations out here. Clean Eats with a Z. Eats with a Z.
I have to check them out.
Yeah, they're great. Right. They're great. And their meals are really delicious too. Like, they have great breakfast meals. They have great lunch meals, dinner meals. They have pizzas too, frozen pizzas that they put together that are all different types. And it's all clean materials that they're using, cleaner foods that they're using, lighter foods that they're using, so that for the average person that they can lose weight and have good meals that they're used to eating, Yeah. So I use them at the moment, and I'm getting with Coyote here soon to get more dialed in with his program too. So that's awesome. But they help a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like from the outsider's perspective, at least, just training year round is enough. Now amplifying it, now that you're coming up to the fight, how much preparation, how much time? I mean, man, ever since you came on the scene, it's just kind of, I've taken a different appreciation for either side. Like, even your opponent, I'm gonna look at them in a different respectful manner. Like, I'm gonna want you to, do your thing and knock the shit out of them. For sure. But I'm also gonna be like, I understand what that dude went through as well.
And all the work that they put in, effort. No,
100%. Like, and I think, I don't know if this is completely true, but I'm going to say, even for me, just on a different level, even just like as an average fan, just like, if I'm going to watch the Rockies and they're playing the Dodgers, and I hate the Dodgers because they've been our rival for years. But I'm like, Clayton Kershaw gets shelled off, Rockies go off, get 7 runs against him. I'm like, ooh, sucker, now what? And I'm like, what was he working through that week that maybe could have changed up? Was he like, not fully prepared, or was he like, I'm just gonna be thinking differently, I guess, just because of the intricacy level that you're going through with some of this stuff. It's a lot. I mean, you're looking great. So, I mean,
I'm
it's
already in
phenomenal.
shape. I stay in shape. Like, you know, I was able to take that fight for that reason. Now, I'm not a small bantamweight, so cutting the weight's the biggest thing. Like, I can be heavier, but if I'm diligent, I'm staying lower. And right now, I'm nowhere. I definitely couldn't make weight on 3 days notice right now, but I can make weight on 4 weeks notice, you know, if I needed to. And I like to just stay in shape, stay healthy, so that when I'm training constantly, I'm getting better at, and I actually am in shape getting better. I'm not always worried. I'm not sitting here worried about having to get in shape. So like the way camp looks in particular, as far as training goes, training kind of stays the same in camp as it does outside of camp. And that's my mentality as a fighter, is 2-a-days every day, right?
That's wild.
Monday through Friday, 2-a-days. So, and then, or excuse me, Monday through Thursday, 2-a-days, and then at least 1-a-day, Friday, Saturday, right? And then in between there, doing one run a week, you know, and at least one strength and conditioning a week. That's outside of camp. That's not even me being in fight camp, right? That's just me training, you know. But basically what happens once I get into camp is I add another strength and conditioning, I add another run in there, maybe a swim, you know. I'm not trying to overwork, but I'm trying to do the things that are going to help me get a little bit ahead, right? I want to be able to push my gas tank to the next level. You know, I want to be able to be in the third round and throw 400 punches if I need to, you know, which is a hard thing to do. Even 200, 100 punches in the third round is like, it's a very hard thing to do. So putting that work in is very important, but that's basically what it ends up working out like. I'll end up doing more cage rounds because I do rounds too. Like this weekend, it's awesome. I love Ben Henderson. He is the man, right? Oh, but man, we all know that if it's him and coach is not around, we are in for it, right? So
just kind of like he got let off the leash.
100%, right? Yeah. So Wednesday comes up, and you know, I'm quite a while outside of the fight still, and Wednesday comes up, coach is out, and Ben's just like, no rounds off. And he means
just
that. He means that. So so for an hour and a half, you know, hour and 45 minutes, there's no rounds off. 5-minute rounds back to back to back. You do the math, that's 17 rounds, right? And we did 15, 17
Seriously?
rounds. That's what we did, you know? And it's like, and he's screaming after round 5, no rounds off. People thinking that they're going to go say, no rounds off. Nobody sat down. I think we, like the veterans too, like the guys like that are under him, like he's been at the pinnacle of the sport for the longest time. He's a influential, impactful visual for all of us, right?
Absolutely.
But like when he says that, the other guys that are veterans in the game too, like it's like, all right, whether or not I was supposed to be doing all these rounds today or not, my superior said this, right? And or even just teammate, even if you don't want to see him as superior, a man who I appreciate and look up to and admire said, this is what we're doing today, and this is what we're doing today, right? And then by way of us doing that, the guys that are looking up to us are like, man, the guy I'm looking up to is doing that, the guy that's looking up to him. So now we're all in here getting better.
That ripple.
Especially on a day where none of us wanted to do 16, 15. None of us wanted to do that many rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely not.
But it's just like, it kind of builds a mentality, right? And his thing behind that is like, who are you going to be when you're tired? Who are you going to be when you're in a round and you don't feel like yourself, or your arms are a little heavy, or whatever, you got kicked at before, you don't, you know, who are you going to be? What things can you work on? Because a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people think about, oh, I just want to make sure I go in there, have my rounds look exactly like I want them to look. And I can understand that. Some people need that too, right?
Sure.
But also some people need what happens when you get clipped in the first round and you're on wobbly legs and now you have to find a way to come back and win. Right. On that note, we just had 2 guys that did that, you know?
Right.
Great guys, phenomenal fighters, both of them, phenomenal fighters, top of the heap, right? Both of them got clipped by the same shot. In the first round, right? Both of them, boom, on wobbly legs, had a tough first round. Both of them came back and freaking won.
And finished
you know?
it. Yep.
Like amazing, right? And that came from, again, going through that, being in the strength and conditioning room when you think that you're done with these workouts and you're like, man, all right, cool, we're done for the day. And J-Rock's like, you thought.
Well, yeah, you're pushing past the point of like the physicality. Now you're getting into, you know, like you said, your mental part, your emotional part. How much are you investing? How much are you buying into yourself, or even your willingness to go through this much pain or this much effort?
100%.
That's where it's hitting me. Like 15, 17 rounds, 5-minute rounds, no rounds off. He's building your mental capacity on top of it.
100%, because we only do 3 rounds in the fight.
Yeah. 5 rounds championship. You're doing triple that.
100%.
That is wild, man.
100%. You know, and just for a regular Wednesday practice, just because, you know, it's like those are the type of things that do build. You know, and I don't think it's a good thing to do that all the time, guys. I'm not saying, and there's some of us that live that way, right? Ben is one of those guys. He's an intense guy. Like wrestling practices, I remember so many wrestling practices. He's like, break your opponent, break them. He means that. He means it. He means break them. Do not let them up. Do not let them do anything. Break them. It's over, you know, until they don't want to be here anymore. And it kind of sounds mean because like, oh, these are our training partners and yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, it's that mentality of like when, even on the opposite side, if I'm the one breaking you and I can even tell you're getting tired, I have to be able to have the capacity in myself to go more, go harder, be stronger. You know, like it's a hard mentality even on the person who's doing the breaking to keep breaking, you know? That's
wild.
Like, so it's like both sides of it. Getting broke upon, like when you're the one breaking, you're like, God dang, this guy is breaking me off.
Oh yeah.
I can't get up. I can't move. Oh, you know, and then it stops and then still going. And then also being the guy on top that's just breaking this guy and still continues to break his will over and over and over again and keep that mindfulness about yourself. So again, it's not for everybody to do all the time, but there is a good time and a place for that type of training as well. And I appreciate him for bringing those type of things into our training and into our life, you know.
Oh. Especially for the fight camp, to get ready for something, obviously to do something and accomplish your goal, you're going to have to be pushed to the limits. I mean, that's just kind of like at least from what you said before, your championship mark of mentality and the things you're willing to do, the things you're willing to sacrifice. You are already here on this platform, as you talked about before. Why not finish it? Why not keep going? You're here, as you said before. I think it was the previous podcast we were talking about it, but you were like, you're here. You want to stay here. It's a different thing to stay here.
Yep.
You made a professional level. You need to remain a professional.
No, 100%. And that leads back into marriage, bro.
Oh,
Going back to the wedding, bro. Like literally, that's what it is, right? It's like that. Like some people hate it. Like, oh, I want to be so in love with my partner. I want to be so in love with my partner. I think the truest, most passionate type of love is choosing to do it when you don't want to, right? It's all nice and gravy when everything's working perfectly. It's all beautiful and everything. Yeah. But it's like when you don't want to do those extra rounds, when you're getting broken upon, right? When they're breaking you, you know, when it's been 6 months, no, I'm just joking. But you know, when it's been, when things aren't necessarily perfect and you still have to be with an open, willing heart, you know, to be embedded, because it's easy to get here. It's easy to get married.
Oh yeah.
So easy, especially in this day and age.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's easy to have a 30-year marriage, you know? It's easy to have a 10-year, 5-year marriage. Marriage is one of those things that's like plummeted so far down. And you know what? It's because it's so easy to get out. It's easy to get in, but it's so easy to get out too, right?
You got a good point about that.
People make it easy to get out, but the mentality behind it is you have to be able to break yourself and then build upon yourself, right? And there's moments in relationships, even in marriage, where you get broken and you have to have the durability and flexibility inside you to bear through those moments of being broken so that you can come on the opposite side better for yourself, better for your spouse, better for your children. So it all plays back hand in hand, right? And it's something that you're about to go through in a big way, you know, and experience that, you know. And me being married for the last 8 years, obviously me and my wife were together for a long time for that, but you know, it's been a lot of that, you know. I've not always wanted to be married, you know what I'm saying? I have not always felt like, oh, we're just so great and compassionate and compatible and all. I have not always felt that way, you know. And it's still the decision to go, I love this person. I'm going to love this person. Maybe I don't like how they're doing this right now, but I'm going to still compassionately love this person, give myself to this person, stay faithful to this person and stay in my lane, right? Because it's easy to do the other things, right? It's easy to go find another woman, right? It's easy to go find new fancy feelings from this new person who wants you and wants to feel your touch and all these different things. You know, it's hard to rebirth those feelings and those emotions in something that's already been given to.
I agree completely. And I've had a lot of, thank you for that insight. That's honestly, I'm like, I'm gonna have to rewind and go through that one. It is something that truthfully I never really thought of on that level. As each timer, now that it's getting very, very close, even just standing on the other side from where my soon-to-be father-in-law is, everything he went through as a previous husband, father, being the main focal point of a man in her life. and now that's being passed on. I have to choose her. I have to every day make that conscious decision. And like you said, whether or not it's the things I think that like I'm enjoying that she's giving me or not, you know, I've had wonderful role models up to this point that through every possible, you know, you want to talk about scripture, what it says about marriage, you want to talk about counseling, or even just opinions. Everyone that's worked through certain things, or everyone that's been like, you know, has had a divorce or has not. I've had both of those where they're like, you know, we're at year 27, been together this long before that, or even like you just now, double-digit years being with each other, almost double-digit years being married. But I've had those who are like, you know, had 15 years, broke it off, got remarried, or some that haven't. I've taken every single word, or anytime someone's given me that respect level to give me an input on what I'm about to go through, has been, you know, kind of dissected and filtered through what I'm able to apply to Adriana and myself. And the biggest thing that I can take is that choosing every day, because I put her through a lot, especially since we moved out here. Back home, it was easy. We had all of our family around us. We were comfortable. We had everything. Everyone knew my name. Everyone knew what I was about. Everyone knew Adriana. Everyone had that like you know, expendable button of just being like, you know, we can turn our life on and turn it off how we see fit. Out here, we cannot, and it's more on the public view. You know, getting humbled as like a brand new beginning and getting down to the bare of who Adrian and I are has really helped our relationship in this aspect, in my opinion. I'm not going to obviously speak for her, but our communication level is better because have only had each other, you know, through this part. And Adri's been able to open up and conversate a little bit better and feel more comfortable about who she is as a woman. And even her going into this, you know, we've found a different level and line of communication. I'm going to say that that's helped us out so far pre-marriage or premarital, you know, conversations, so that we're actually talking about our marriage in a different way, where it's not just a day, it's our day. And that's what we want. This is honestly what is what we've been working up for. It's been like that, you know, that focal point, but now has a different meaning. And being a fiance from the outside looking in, I can honestly say I couldn't be more excited to become a husband. I feel like I'm ready. As ready as I can be, I guess.
Well, you're better than me right off the rip, man, because I was not. It took way much more from me, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and my wife have been through everything, you know what I'm saying? Through so much before then, and even us getting back together was a surprise, you know, and then even getting married, like I wasn't looking forward to getting married, man. I really wasn't, you know. It's just not, that's on the opposite side of it. It's just not something that I was like really geeked up by. I hadn't had a lot of role models that were married in the, you know, in my mind, you know. And then we always had different issues, you know. Obviously, you know, I was a different person than she was, and we all have our differences, you know. And I was like, man, but you know what, it was like thinking about it in the same way, like it's not one day, you know what I'm saying? Like that one day is what everything led up to. That's the fight, right? That one day is the fight. And we want to show up for the fight, but it's like, how are you going to show up for every day after the fight, right? How are you going to show up every day after the wedding, you know? And then those are the things that started to become more important than even just like the fact of me wanting to be a husband. Because I really, honestly, she knows too. She gave me an ultimatum. She was like, when she got back, you know, from Michigan or from Georgia or North Carolina is where she was staying at. She basically, I was like, hey, you know, I want my family back. We had already had 2 kids. It's like, I want to be able to be impactful for my children. I want to be able to be there for you as a good man and all these different things, you know, and I want to get back together. About a week of that went on, and she was like, all right, yeah, cool. Well, here's my ultimatum. You know, I want one more child and I want to be married within a year. And I was like,
just smacked it on the table.
No jokes, no plan. And I didn't blame her because it had already been 10 years at that point. It'd been 10 years of me playing around, you know, playing around, leaving our relationship, coming back to our relationship, leaving our relationship, coming back to our relationship, based off of feelings, right? Oh, I want this. I deserve this. I need this. I should have my ego, right? My ego, opposed to the other part of me, which I believe is a better part of me, is the giver in me, right? Giving blind checks, right? Blank checks, right? Who do I want to be? Like, it's fine. Not everybody wants to be that way, right? But when I look at who I want to be, or who I want to be remembered as, or what I would like to see myself remembered as, I'd like to see myself remembered as that, right? The person who gave more, right? That person who endured more, the person who chose the harder options over his own feelings, right? Because I have my own inhibitions and wants and everything, you know. But like, none of that trumps my kids' well-being. None of that trumps my wife's well-being, our stability in life, you know, the communication that we have between each other, right? And it's like those things are so important. And it's not to say that people failed from getting divorced, right? That if that's a decision people come to, that sometimes that's the best decision, right? And that's fine. But that's also being able to make that decision together and do it the right way as well, right? You know, and make that decision and not do it out of malice or anger or what's the other word I'm looking to? Like basically like malice, I guess is the best word I'd be, you know, not just trying to hurt that person just because, you know, loving that person in a moment where you don't love them, right? Yeah. And that's what marriage is for me, you know. Marriage is, and that's how fighting has helped me in my marriage too, because you don't get, it's not like I show up to the gym every day and just, oh damn, I'm better, you know. It's like, that's not what happens. It's like every single day I get just a hair better at something, just a hair better at something, you know. And it may not feel as good as I wanted to feel, but I'm still giving myself to it fully, freely, without expectations, you know. And I feel like that kind of leads back into the so it's funny how you said that, because I feel like it plays really good part into like marriage as well, which is which an adventure that you're about to go on to. And it's kind of cool from the outside in to see how excited you are about it, you know, because again, like I really wasn't. My wife knew that, you know, and she hated me for it, you know, and she had some resentment for me against me. Likewise, she should, right? Like, this is our biggest day. Why did I not want to, you know what I'm saying? Why is it so much for me to have to want to, do I not love you? Do I not care? No, that's not none of it. It's just like, I did not put as much importance on it as she did, right? 100%. I didn't see it as the same way. And like, kind of fighting has helped me see certain things in different lights, be able to be more empathetic about where she stands on it. And then to think about it as that too, like, this is our wedding day. This is the day that we prepared for years, to come out to people and say, hey, we love each other. We're making a binding contract to stay together and to build something that's bigger than ourselves, than just us singular. We're going to build us together, and it's not going to be us singular anymore. It is now us together, you know, which is hard.
I can imagine. I mean, I can feel that, because, a lot of it, I have my word for it. It's being a cynical, ego driven person, and to really kind of like, I guess, have a different aspect of it, because I know Adri's been working extremely hard with the planning. She's done it all herself, and the relief that she's going to have once the planning's over and she'll be able to get to that day and enjoy it. That's where I would say right now that like prepping up for that day is the easiest part for me. That's where I feel like right after that day's over, right on the back end of that is where I need to kind of float her. Yep. Because she's doing it right now for us. I'm, you know, and to say that she's not, but focusing on this business and everything's kind of been me taking lead, when she's kind of supporting me on that aspect, and it's flip-flop for the wedding. But at the same time, she's still putting ample effort into this building, everything that we're doing. She's still investing and letting go of what, I don't know, I'm going to say like, you know, her side of the ego, I guess to say, like, you know, because she's right in the same aspects. Like, she's like, you know, you need to let go more, a little more personal life, a little bit more, like, show me a little bit more excited for this wedding day. And I'm like, I'm been excited to be a husband. Doesn't mean that I'm not, but she's looking at it in the aspect of like, you know, already, right? We're having that kind of tug and pull, but then I'm looking at her like, well, I know you're excited to be a wife, like, but so let's focus a little bit more over here. Like, you know, this is happening right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of mixtures in that aspect, but then we also have a lot of coaches, a lot of people on the same side who are like, you could still do both, but you need to find balance. You need to construct here. You need to do this. And like, honestly, another big thing, and even comes from you, is waking up with intent and purpose. Not saying that we can do it all, but you can get a lot done.
Oh yeah.
You get up in the day, you worry, or not worry, you focus on how you're going to go attack this day. You wake up, you're already a husband, you're already a father, and you're already a fighter. How are you going to go about your day completing all of those, right? I mean, you structured that enough many times to talk about, and be yourself, right?
And then be yourself at the same time, right?
Yes.
Because that's something that we all forget about as well, right?
100%.
Audrey, it's the same thing with Audrey. She's going to be herself, you know, and you are too. And it's bringing those two things together, you know?
Yeah.
And then you who you are now and Audrey who she is now is not going to be you who you are now and Audrey who you are now in 5 years.
Right.
Right.
100%.
And then still being able to connect those dots
all the way through.
All the way through in 5 years, you know, and being able to communicate, which is a huge thing. Communication is here. It's one thing I had to learn how to do, right? I had to really learn how to communicate on a level place where it's like not raising my voice, not getting aggravated, not getting being more understanding, empathetic, and understanding how to form things to talk about, right? Because there's a way to go about talking about things. Some of us just want to get to the point, and I feel it because that's how men a lot of the times, right? Even with all of our podcasts, we kind of just like we just get it, you know, like, oh, well, I feel like saying this, I'm gonna say it, you know? Yeah. And it's like, oh, you can interpret it how you want to interpret it, but this is what I said.
Exactly.
But for women, there is a difference there, you know, and it's not, again, I believe women are extremely strong and they have all the attributes they have, right? But same thing with men. We have different attributes that women do not have, right?
Agreed.
And that's kind of why we approach things in a different way a lot of times, and it kind of it hinders us, right? But learning how to be able to approach those things in a better way so that our significant other can, you know.
So if I can switch gears a little bit, when you're preparing, so you're going through fight camp right now, you have this day that you know, like it's done. It's August 12th. We're here. We're doing this. You're going through all the things you're going through. You're putting a little more emphasis. You're stepping up your training game. You're preparing mentally to get ready. If I can ask, I guess maybe a multi-switch question is, how do you and your wife interact during fight camp? What are the on and off switches that you know, like, you're not able to do outside of fight camp? Like, you know, like, I'm not saying this right, and maybe I'm not, you know, phrasing this right, but you're like being a more present husband or father. You have to step up in one level, so somewhere over here has to decline.
Yep.
How does that work? I mean, do you guys have this dialed out, or how's this?
We just kind of go through it because honestly, like, she hates me. That's what it boils down to. She hates me. The start of it's not too bad, but like definitely fight week, she can't stand me, and I can't stand her either during fight week. And it's mostly because of the difference in our lifestyles, right? Like, I love my wife to death, but we have very different lifestyles. Yeah. Me on the health turn, me on the things I need to be eating, me on the workouts that I do, me mentally, you know, like there's a lot of things that I can't do and I shouldn't be doing in life right now because of my career that she does, you know, and that I enjoy still, but I can't do those because it's our well-being that's at stake now, right?
Gotcha.
And the problem with that is she doesn't feel empathy for me, right? And that's a problem we've had for a long time. She's like, hey, you chose to do this, it's all you. I'm like, yeah, but am I going to be the one to choose to buy the house that you want us to buy in the future too, right? Like,
yeah, so
like you're a part of this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you're a part of this, right? Like I need you to stop getting ice cream. I need you to stop getting the ice cream, bro. Don't bring another quart of ice cream in here. I don't want to, like, you know, and it even gets tougher because we got the kids and they want cereal and bro, like, again, I at heart, I want to eat everything.
All of it.
Right?
Yeah.
At heart, I want to eat everything. I was like, you're so disciplined. I'm like, yes, when I have to be or when I choose to be. I want to be disciplined. But on the opposite side of that, man, you give me 4 different cereals, I'll put them all in the same bowl and with a bunch of milk
with a scoop of ice cream on top of it.
With a scoop of ice cream on top of it, bro. Like, I am game and I can eat, you know, but I also do understand, like, all of the decisions that we make hinder us, right? Like, so if I do want to, it's one thing to eat like that every once in a while, that's fine. But if I do want to eat like that every day, which I wouldn't mind eating like that every day.
But it affects your goal.
Absolutely.
Of what you're set out to do.
Absolutely.
Because you're still using this as being a provider too.
Exactly.
So you're holding that different type of pressure of saying it's not just discipline just to fight.
Yep.
It's to provide.
It's to provide, right? Because it's like, I'm I've let go of so much ego in myself in a big way because it's a better way for me and like I really let go of like me needing to fight to get publicity or known and all those things like that. Like it's all cool that that's come along with all this stuff, but everything that I've gained like personally, everything that I gained inside of me is the stuff that I hold on so much more dear than any of the followers I've gotten, you know, any of the, I mean, I appreciate everybody who gives me good words and everything like that, but everything that I get emotionally from training and mentally and physically from training is all the stuff that's super important to me, not necessarily the publicity on it. Now, on the opposite side of it, as a fighter providing for a family, I need money. I need, my kids need clothes. I need to fix my vehicle. I need to take care of my wife wants and deserves nice things, you know, take her out to eat, you know, it's like, so it's just like, multiple of those things that I have to be thinking about too. So it's like, yeah, they do. It goes from having a passion to also having a passion that is also your provision for your family. What makes you the man, right? Because that's what we are as men, providers, you know. And not to say that women can't be providers or do not provide, you know, because there's plenty of women that are single moms or vice versa that are just the breadwinners in a family. And I have more respect for any type of family setup like that. That's fine. But in our minds, in our DNA and makeup, it's like we have to provide. Oh, when are you gonna buy me a new house? I'm gonna buy a house, even if we're both gonna be on the note. It's like, when am I gonna do it?
No, but I mean, but I agree with that too, because I put it in Adri's mind as well, because it's kind of like the same thing. I'm gonna provide my side. She is still gonna be a provider too. Like, we are both providers, because truthfully, like, the end goal, I would love for her to be a stay home, as we have, if and when we decide to start a family. I want her to do that, and whatever phases that leads to, we both are going to understand that. But at the same time, we're, you know, like you said, I had to let go of my ego too, because she opened up my eyes on that. Because, well, like, I'm going to provide, you know, you to live that, you know, that kind of lifestyle, or, you know, this and that too. And she goes, yeah, I'm going to be a provider too, dumbass. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
you both are working toward providing. It's a team. It's a team effort.
It is a team effort. And so, with a lot of things, I can't say that I've been taught a lot is to seek counsel and understand people's, at least giving me respect. Like, you know, you're giving me a dip into kind of what your marriage is like and kind of what your power struggles are. It means a great deal to me that you, you know, share those, even the ones like the ones off camera. Now, you know, just to say, because truthfully, it's real and it's coming. You know what I'm saying?
100% fast.
Yeah, it's coming fast. It's here.
It's here. It's here. You know? I remember you talking about losing. Oh, let me get in shape and everything. You have a few months. You have a couple months.
Yeah, it is. We are
half a month.
Countdown. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's wild, man. I mean, I know you know the feeling. And I'm like, you know, on the other side of it, I know after we'll come out the day, you know, be like, ooh, what a party, you know. But then, you know, the
realness,
adrenaline wears off, you know, and we're sitting there and we're just like
looking at these rings at home. You're like, oh, here we are.
Yeah.
All the glory from it. What is it when the glory is gone?
Right. And so that's where it's interesting, because we're able to tie this together. That's kind of, I mean, I don't know, as you gave us the post-fight type of deal where you're like, you know, it's not really worn off, but you're like, there's so much more to do still. You have to keep elevating yourself in the UFC. You have so much more to take care of. You got to worry about more multi-fight deals. You got to worry about who you're going to fight. You got to worry about how you're going to set up your camp. And yeah, you're, as much as you would love to bask in that first win, your debut. I think the rest of us are living that longer than you can, you know, you poor guy.
100%.
It's now a memory stake where you can be like, you know, you can slap it on the wall, you can point at it in a little bit while I'm still wearing my pom-poms and cheering on for you. You're like, cool, but I still got this one. You're like, move on, bro. Like, you know, like,
100%.
Yeah, you're lesser of a time than I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 2 weeks after you. You know, you're gonna be in recovery mode, and I'm still like, woo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll be cheering for you.
Yeah. No, you're like, yeah.
No, but 100%. You're right. You're right, man.
So I mean, like it's crazy how intertwined things are.
They really are.
Blows my mind, especially when we start talking about them on this level, because going through what you're here, or going through what steps and what necessary things you're doing, like you're doing the right things. You're getting your team together. You're getting your nutrition right. You're getting your workout right. You're getting your schedule. You're getting your 10 to 12 workouts. You're getting you're going to be studying film on your opponent. You're going to be, the best version of you for that particular moment. Yeah, you have a date and everything like that, but I guess now, like what amazes me the most is how you're still doing it as a father and as a husband and as a fighter and yourself, is that it's not just a fight camp to be a husband. You're like, you know what I'm saying? But you're doing these things, but you're developing them into your character. You're developing them into
my life.
Exactly.
It's my lifestyle, right? Like and it's not that everything is perfect. I promise you guys. Everything is never perfect, right? Things are constantly falling apart. Like we were talking in the last podcast, there's constantly fires, and it's just being calm enough and cool enough, and also having faith enough to know that, okay, make the best decision I can right now, be present, be caring about what I'm doing. And can I really do wrong at that point? No, it's just going to be learn, it's like things happen and they're not always going to be perfect, and everything's not going to line up exactly how you want to, but having the right attitude behind it, and really taking yourself out of it and just seeing what you could do. What can you do? Not what you need to do, but what can you actually do? Sometimes you can't do what you need to do.
Sure.
Right? And that's just how it is, right? But if you can do it, then do it, Like if you need to do it, you should be doing it, right? But if you can't do something that you need, do the next best thing, right? And then you can then at least you can be free of knowing that you did your best, right? I can be free of knowing that I'm not too worried. Like even if I died today, right? My kids know that I love them to death, 100%. Like they know they're the most important thing in my life. My wife knows I love her, my teammates know that I love them. They know the energy that they know my intention in life. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things are known, and it's because every single day that we get up, these are the things that we're focusing on, right? Focus on my wife, focus on my children, focus on the stability of my family, focus on my relationship with God, focus on my relationship with my teammates, focus on training myself to be a better fighter, a better man in general, right? And that's what it is too. Because not that I'm religion. I've said this multiple times. I'm not a religious person, but me even getting back into religion, which I'm a spiritual person. I do read the Bible. I do talk to God on a regular basis. I do have my own beliefs and Jesus and God and how that all thing sets up. But as far as the religious part of it, I bring my kids back as a leader in my family. I'm bringing them to church so that they can be exposed to this, right?
Nice.
So that they can be exposed to who God and who Jesus is, so that my wife also can be exposed to that, so that I'm being a leader in our family and showing, hey, I am humbled. I am humbled by something that is bigger and better than me, right? I'm in servitude to this. We are here to serve and to show them through strength that serving is not weak, right?
Agreed.
So again, not that I want them to be Christians or Muslims or anything like that. I want them to have a strong belief in God. I want them to have a strong relationship with God, and I want them to be strong in strength and who they are and the character that they're trying to be the best parent, sibling, cousin, whatever, that they can possibly be. And I think that that's one of the ways to do it,
you're walking the walk, saying everything. I know that you're definitely going through that, and allowing me, honestly, exposing me. Like you talk about exposing your kids just now, you're exposing me on that level, because taking it very serious, and as this podcast shows, applying it to what I believe in, and doing the things that are necessary, doing the things that I want, and I know she wants as well. I'm taking that away too, of we're not like obviously dumb or that arrogant. Sometimes as men we can be, but I know what Adri wants. I know what she needs, and working together to understand that, it may not always come out the way that she wants. I am working towards that. Maybe just the way that God looks at us. He's steering us in a way where he's like, it may not be what you want, but you will get what you need. Yeah. And you will be this person. You are born to do this. You're meant to do this, because I feel like I've had my purpose revealed to me. And maybe I'm just going off on a different way here, but
I love it. Speak your truth.
Yeah, right.
Speak your truth, King.
But I feel like, you know, you don't find your purpose. Your purpose finds you. And I felt like I was born to serve.
Yeah.
At a very young age.
Yeah.
Whatever capacity that is. And it's easy for me on that aspect because I'm able to look at something like marriage to be something that I'm like, it's going to be pretty natural for me. It can be something I can really, really do and be very great at. And having you on that side of being disciplined enough to, like, you know, realize, at least from you, from what I'm taking, that you let go of so much of yourself to realize it would be greater with her moving towards it. Like, even if she did give you an ultimatum, you're like, well, she had to. To be a better fighter, to do everything you had to do, you had to give up a lot of things that honestly you probably wish you could have done. But now look where you are now.
Yeah.
And realize it was for the greater. It was for the better, sacrificing and putting yourself at stake, being vulnerable.
100% vulnerability.
Yeah.
And owning up to that. Cause 100%. I didn't want to. I didn't want to let go of tattooing. I didn't want to let go of women.
Skateboarding.
I didn't want to let go of skateboarding.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let go of partying with my boys. You know, I didn't want to let go of a lot of different things. I did not want to, but it was like, and honestly, I feel like the same thing. Like I always felt like my purpose was to be there and serve people. That's what I've done since a young age. For a young age, a lot of, we talk about me getting in fights all the time. Almost all my fights were protecting people. You know, almost all my fights were being overly protective of the people around me. You know,
and being defended.
Being defensive, providing for my family, being there. I got a job. I got my first job at 12 years old, landscaping in Arizona, landscaping in the middle of the summer, right? Making $50 a week, right? $50.
Man, that's crazy.
Giving money, you know, and then giving that money to my parents, you know, like just to my mom, like, you know, like it's just like those type of things, you know, and it's like, I didn't remember those things for the longest time, but it's like, that's what I was put here to do. And yeah, maybe I wanted all these other things. And because the world has shown me these things and my impulses are like, yes, give me. But then God sat back and said, no, I have so much more in store for you. Right. I have so much. And that's why even with this fighting thing, I love it. And I pray that I get to the top of the heap and become a champion. I pray that I have all the glory and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I pray more that I use that platform to express my gratitude for the Lord, for everything that He's given me, for the position that He's put me in, and that I own up to that on a daily basis. Even outside of the UFC, even if I only got the one fight and I never get a fight again in the UFC, but to own up to it and still say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for not making me turn left and making me turn right. Thank you for making me go through that hard time that I thought was the worst time in my life, where I was going to be gone, and still pulling me out of it. Thank you, because this is where I needed to be. It may not be where I always thought I wanted to be, but this is where I needed to be. My kids get the benefit from it. My brothers, my sisters, my uncles, my cousins, my whole family get the benefit of having a better person in their life, not somebody who's so stuck on just themselves and what they can do and what and jewelry and all these other things. And I want nice things, and I want my family to be in a good place, but more so I want to be able to get to a point where I could really be there for my family as a servant to them, to guide them, to give back to them, to point them in the right direction. Credit-based, work-based, anything, you know. So it's really good. And all of it intertwines together. So it's kind of cool that you're going to be going and getting married 2 weeks after I'm having my next MMA fight, and then kind of how those two things, those two big monumental moments, kind of like have similarities. So many of these things have similarities. They all really fade together in a big way, and it's up to us to use that perspective that we have to look at them and kind of
I agree, and you and I are touching on the same thing on having it as a platform to be thankful and understand that it's been given to us as a gift, and there is something greater. All the shit that I went through, everything that I thought this was gonna boil up to or not be a big deal, God's definitely shown me a different way. That is 100% sure.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm glad we're in agreement with that. And I guess this one can boil down to UFC fighting and marriage is the same thing.
They're the same. They're the same thing. If you're a UFC fighter and you're
That's
married,
what Marcus has basically said this whole thing, that his fight camp and marriage are the same.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, the marriage is hard enough. No,
I'm just kidding, Miss McGee.
Yeah, I'm serious. No, she's gonna see it.
No,
She watches every
I
one
know.
of these.
Yeah, I know she does. So
she's gonna question
hopefully
me.
she beats you up first, and then she'll come after me after.
She absolutely will.
No,
She
I'm just kidding.
absolutely
I
will.
mean, truthfully, just know that at least I'm extremely blessed. It's something I'm very much looking forward to. One, his watch party is going to be insane. So everyone prepare for that whenever this fight's coming up here soon.
August
12th. Coming up very, 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 very fast. And homeboy's ready. He's looking good, looking fierce. The Maniac's going to bust out soon. Oh.
And I'm a grower, not a shower.
Zoom in on that shirt. But and then 2 weeks after that, I'm getting hitched. So it's gonna be. August is gonna be a wild month, man. It's
gonna be a great time. I'm excited for you, man.
Here and I appreciate you, my guy.
Definitely.
So, but you can find me at Brett Anthony M and everything elevated.
Okay, and then you can find me at Maniac_McGee on Instagram or Maniac07. Maniac McGee 07 on Twitter, and then Maniac McGee on all other platforms. You'll find something. I'll be dropping some new merch here soon too, guys, so keep your eyes out for that. You know, Ultra Instinct, it's time.
See you at the aisle.
See you at the aisle. Heck yeah.